Bishop Worsham, for this invitation. The Church of God in Christ is the largest Pentecostal organization in the world, with more than 6.5 million members. We're 116 plus years old in over 109 countries around the world. We're not a black church, but we're predominantly of color, our members. And the Church of God in Christ has always been at the forefront of the civil rights movement. We've always had a major part in addressing inequalities. In fact, Dr. Martin Luther King gave his last speech the night before he would be assassinated in our world headquarters, Mason Temple Church of God in Christ. Malcolm X had his funeral at Faith Temple Church of God in Christ in Harlem, New York, because no one in the church felt comfortable enough to have him to host that funeral there. And we have a current presiding bishop, Bishop J.G. Shear, who understands that somewhere between Dr. Martin Luther King and today, we've lost our footing in the civil rights movement. And he is committed to ensuring that the Church of God in Christ does all that we can to ensure that the largest African American Pentecostal organization in the world is at the table. Now, I don't know if you know, our presiding bishop, his family business, if you would, is real estate. So he understands real estate. He understands wealth building in the black community. However, we have got to change our approach. Somewhere we started preaching this prosperity gospel, and by we I mean church period, and it's not really prosperity. Prosperity is not about what you got on your back or even in the bank, but it's about what you can build to lead to the next generation. But that whole text is about the acquisition of property. It's about wealth building. And so we're extremely excited and grateful to the president and to NAREB for partnering, for allowing us to partner with you all on this 100 city tour to ensure that our people are educated, trained, and prepared, not just to get to heaven, but to leave something on earth before they get there. And so we're super excited about it. I feel like I'm the least of these great minds on the panel, but one of my responsibilities as the president of Evangelism of the Church of God in Christ is not just to train, to mentor, and to license evangelists. There's some, probably 100,000 evangelists that I have leadership over, but one of the conversations that I'm bringing to the table is not just how well you can preach. It's just not about hermeneutics and hermeneutics, how well you can put together a sermon, but it's a holistic approach. I want to know, do you have a trust? I want to know, as the president, do you have insurances? I want to know, do you own your property? Can you imagine if all 6.5 million members of the Church of God in Christ owned property? Yes. I'm scared to even ask how many of our members own their property. And so our presiding bishop is extremely excited about shifting the conversation, because a lot of our churches do well with low-income housing, and a lot of our churches from an organizational perspective does well with wealth building, but some kind of way we've got to translate that to the local member. And it's not good enough for the church to own property and the member not. And so we're extremely excited about the potential of this partnership and how we can, I don't know how far we've come, but I believe by faith we can go further. Thank you. This generation, my generation, is not just a fear of commitment and the desire not to have responsibility, but it's a lack of education. I didn't know what equity was until I purchased my first home. So it's not that we don't want to build wealth. Someone needs to teach us and take the time to show us that this is what half of the Old Testament, I'm the only preacher on the panel too, so I guess I got half of the Old Testament is about acquisition of property. It's about land. And we're still fighting. Those are the Jews, by the way, they get it. Well, I don't know what's wrong with us. But we've not been taught. And that's why we're extremely excited. Our presiding bishop, Church of God in Christ, we're extremely excited about partnering with NAREB to educate our people. Educate the Church of God in Christ and those who we serve, because we're going to build some wealth once we understand the game that we're all playing.
Attack. Just this morning I was reading Mississippi legislation proposed a Senate bill Senate Bill 2726. I want you to look it up. 2726, Mississippi Legislator Senate Bill 2726, that proposes to close down 3 institutions, public institutions in the state of Mississippi that ultimately could end the legacy of Alcorn State University, Jackson State University, and Mississippi Valley State University. And so NAREB, we have an obligation and a responsibility to show up, to rise up, to step up, and support our historically black colleges and universities. I am asking us today, as we have supported over the years as an association, the United Negro College Fund, today I am asking you to support one of our partners, the Barber-Scotia College in Concord, right down the street in Concord, North Carolina. I am asking you today to take out your devices, scan the QR code on the screen, and make a contribution today. Now, y'all know I'm a pastor, all right? And y'all know that, sometimes we got to say up here and count this money on site, all right? But we're not going to do that, but I'm going to ask you to scan that code today. Make a contribution to help the work to revitalize the infrastructure of Barber-Scotia College. You have already heard Dr. Ray say that he has a strong desire, and we're going to help him to make it happen, to bring real estate education to the campus of Barber-Scotia College. Can we do that today, NAREB? Can we do that today? Come on, let's give it up for Barber-Scotia.
Let's leverage our key relationships and MOU partnerships to penetrate into our communities. And our report shows that it's mission critical. We are the Realtors, the only organization in this country that has been focused on Black homeownership since our inception 77 years ago. It's been the single most significant strategic focus of NAREB. Before they let us become Realtors, our community had the Realtors. When redlining was legal, the Realtors was still making homeownership possible for our community. Before the MLS, Zillow, and other sites could conveniently help you go online to find properties, our community had the Realtors. We, the Realtors, are the stewards of the Black community when it comes to wealth building and real estate. And our role is critical because 60%, which is the majority of Black wealth that we do have in this country, is in real estate. And guess what we see on Realtors? Real estate, which is really Black wealth. Dr. George C. Frazier was our Black History Month speaker a couple of weeks ago. How many people heard Dr. Frazier with us? It was phenomenal, but he said something that was profound about age. He said, when you turn 50 years old, before you turn 50, you're just learning. And I'm thinking, I'm 45, I'm getting my stride. And he says, you haven't even started getting your stride yet, you're just 50. He said, when you turn 50, you finally start moving a little bit because you start to get it. Some of those lessons that you needed to learn starts to seep in. But he said, when you get 60, you finally reach some steam because you got experience and some things. Realtors with the Black Greeks. NAREB Realtors with the Black lawyers. NAREB Realtors with the George Floyd family and the Black civil rights community. NAREB Realtors with the African American mayors. NAREB Realtors with the Black church. All working together for the benefit of the Black community. God has blessed us so much. It's taken us 10 years to accumulate these partnerships and relationships. And I want to recognize past President Ron Cooper, if he can stand, President Jeffrey Hicks, and President Lydia Pope. Under their administrations, we have built our faith-based community-based initiative, which has led us to 27 MOU partnerships with some of the largest, most distinguished African American organizations in the country. But that has been a 10-year journey for us to build those relationships. But now it's time to connect the dots. It's time to connect the dots. And it took experience, it took longevity, it took wisdom, it took faith, it took a 77-year-old organization to be able to connect these dots, but I feel like the dots are connected, and our tour will prove that. The goal of the Black Wealth Tour is E3, empowering our members to go out and enrich our communities while we elevate the brand of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We have 3 goals with the tour. Number 1, to educate our community. Number 2, to inspire our community to buy real estate and give them the tools and the confidence that they need to buy real estate. And thirdly, to position the National Association of Real Estate Brokers as the voice for Black wealth throughout the Black communities in America. We need the realtors, every realtor who wears this, touch your pen if you wear this pen, to show up on April 13th, to teach a class, to work the registration booth, to hold the door open, to volunteer, to sit out the donuts and the coffee for the community, to counsel, to do one-on-ones, to be a part of this historic day in your local market to make it successful. So realtors, are we committed to showing up April 13th?
Yeah!
On the network for the Building Black Wealth Tour. We have created a strategic partnership with Kathy Hughes and Radio 1. We will be on the Ricky Smiley Show that is syndicated in 92 of our cities. Our commercials will be on the D.L. Hughley Show that's syndicated in 87 of our cities. We'll also be on commercials on the Erica Campbell Show, syndicated in 55 of our cities. We will have a social media campaign with Radio 1 that will expose over 1 million Black Americans to the Building Black Wealth Tour. TV One Money and Business podcast that gets 50,000 viewers per week. We will have our commercial on. NAREB will be in the print issue of Essence Magazine, the #1 news and entertainment source for Black women. We will have celebrity ambassadors that's part of the Building Black Wealth Tour. Master P is a celebrity ambassador. Ronnie DeVoe of New Edition is a celebrity ambassador. Sid the Entertainer is a celebrity ambassador of the NAREB Building Black Wealth Tour. So NAREB, the Black realtors, we're going on tour. We're going out to empower, to enrich, and while we elevate and let the world know that the realtors is the trusted advisor for Black wealth in our communities. So let's get ready for April 13th. We will never be the same as an organization.